This video is a video that I'm actually doing, this recording, about the state of our industries in Ghana. We all know that our industries are at a very appalling in very appalling states right now. But what actually bothers me is we have a minister for trade and industry who sits on the cabinet meetings all the time. We actually, after 50 years of independence, haven't actually thought of adding value to any resources that we actually harness or exploit from our own land. And what actually even worries me is we had the largest hydroelectric dam in Ghana. And for the past 50 years, the countless number of governments that have come and gone, the only government that seemed to have made good use of the production and the use of the hydro power was maybe Kwame Nkrumah's government. Of course, on a large scale, when Jerry John Rawlings' government came into power, the PNDC, NDC, they tried as much as possible to connect all the villages to the national grid. That one, I commend them for that. Much as he talks too much, he did something about that. On the other hand, whilst he was connecting the villages to the national grid, he let slip of a very vital thing that will actually propel our economy forward. And that was the local industries. Even though they so claimed that they were trying to empower women and at the same time empower the villagers in setting up their local cottage industries, etc., etc. But the will of government was so much so that they were not interested in actually harnessing the best in us. Why am I saying this? Because one, people could import into the country with impunity any rubbish, because people in offices were getting bribes, or it's either the ministers themselves were in business. So what am I saying? Well, what it actually means is that because all these things were going on, now customs tariffs were also high. So people in the industry, the local industry, who were even doing like Apiaminka, like Unilever, like all those companies that were in Ghana, that were not only giving employment, but they were also making sure that the exchequer's account, grows bigger and bigger. They were all being killed in a way. They were all being stifled in a way. They were being stifled to the extent that people were importing cement and all those things into the country when we had Gassem, and lately, these Indian people at Aflao, whatever their name is, I've forgotten their name. It was good because Gassem was monopolizing the market. So it was good that there should be competition. Of course, competition is good, but it has to be measured. That's why we actually have to give licenses to other Ghanaians. Now, let's remember, these two cement manufacturing firms are all owned by expatriates. This is where my beef lies, actually. This is where my beef lies, because they are all owned by expatriates. Not because it is bad to invest in Ghana, but because the market was monopolized by especially Gassem for a long fucking time. Before the Indians maneuvered, how they did it, only God knows. But they did it, which was a good thing to hear. But why can't indigenous Ghanaians also own cement making factories? Is it because they lack the capital, or is it because government is not willing to support its own people? But I would take the latter explanation, meaning that government actually doesn't want the Ghanaian to own any big industry. You rather want them to be working with people, or to have their hands in the stomach of their hands. In other words, they should be begging for food and all. It is so disheartening when you think we actually are in an era whereby now we should have empowered our own. Be the person be a Northerner, an Ashanti, a Fanti, an Ewe, a Ga, a Gandangbe, a Nadoli, a Konkumba. It is just a Ghanaian. That is what is beautiful. And the beauty of we having our own individualism, we all know that there is a common thread that runs around between us. And that makes us nice people. That makes us, when anytime we are outside that borders of that particular area, that geographic area that we are from, people are able to see that we are Ghanaians, because there is a peculiar uniqueness to the way we behave, the way we relate to people, the way we even laugh, you know, and the way we articulate our views and all that. But what is actually bothering me now is government's inability to help local industries take the local market when they are actually allowing cheap imports from China. How they should be able to do that, I'll tell you that in my next segment. But as far as I know, if government is willing politically, and if government is actually willing, it is very easy, very, very easy for things to change for the better. Like this Christo Asafo man. This man has been doing so many things that we never want to help him to actually achieve, even though he's been using his own resources. Government in its wisdom should quickly go to the aid of this Christo Asafo, Apostle Safo, whatever his name is. That man has a knack for industrial development, and such a person should be helped. Enough money should be pumped into the universities, especially science and technology, and people should be encouraged to study. They should make education that attractive, to the extent that people shouldn't be going to school and be coming home and be thinking of what they will eat. Parents should be paid living wages. The lecturers in particular, the doctors as well. Of course, we need to keep our own, else they all flee to the UK and Canada and Australia and all those places. I don't know. It just bothers me so much. I wish there is a way to be paying these people for them to stay in Ghana for me. Because if I tell you that I love it here, I'm lying. I actually want to go home and set up an industry again. Run my business as I used to be doing. At first, of course, it wasn't an industry. I was doing this import and export thing. But this was a product that we couldn't find in Ghana. So obviously, there was no way government would have slapped higher taxes on me, even though I was paying higher taxes. And they needed it anyway for the building industry. So that was what we were doing. But now, why not we go into something creative ourselves? There's so many things one can do. Look, we have only one chocolate factory in Ghana. Why? Why won't government encourage some of us to go into chocolate making and sell it locally? We are tired of the same style that Golden Tree has been making all the time. Crap. When you think of it, it tells you that they are so bent in doing one thing for the market, because Ghanaians don't ask too much. They just go with the flow. The Lebanese have taken over the market, the Syrians, and now the Indians. People who, when you go to their country, they are in the lower caste. Now they're in Ghana, they are raising their shoulders high. Let them wait till I come to Ghana. They should actually respect the laws of the country. People are taking us for granted, but some of us, we are not going to be taken for granted just like that, though. I'm talking with pain so much on my heart.